Hello everyone, this is Dr. El-Hawary and today I'm going to present the fourth tutorial of Adobe InDesign. Today we're going to input a text within our InDesign. So first of all, before I do this, I need just to create a layer and I'm going to call it a text. So I'm just going to double click on it and just call it a text. And as you see here, this is represented by a green color. If I'm clicking here OK, so I'm ready now to apply the text within the layer. Just gonna minimize the window of the layers. Now if I go to the text tool here, you can find if I just click and hold it for a second, you will find the type tool or type on path tool. We'll find out the difference between both of them. So if I'm going here, type tool, and this is the normal tools of text. So if I'm just clicking the text, it wouldn't allow me to write anything on my computer or my InDesign because again, we did not select the right space of the text. As you see here in InDesign, you need to select where your text will start from and where it's going to end up by. And if you look clearly here, you'll find it's presented with a green rectangular. And just to make sure we are at the correct layer, which is the green layer here. Now to see how the text look like, but this is not actually our text. So I'm gonna go here with fill with placeholder text. Now if I go to fill with placeholder text here, it will add the text. It just shows me how my text will look like. However, I'm definitely changing this with my own text that will be matching my contents. So going with the text here, if you look at the top here, you will find two tabs within the text. I'm having the character tab and the second one is the paragraph tab. So changing between them, you're gonna find a little bit difference between them, and this is what we're going to discuss later on within our InDesign. So starting with the text, first of all, going with text here, you need first of all to highlight your text to pick up the desired font. So I'm just gonna go over the font and let's say for example I'm using one of my fonts. Now looking at the fonts here, you'll find at the fonts presented by an icon next to it. So we have TT and we have O. The difference between them, open type, that means is designed by someone such as me and yourself, and those fonts you can download using the internet. We're gonna find TT here, that means true type font. So we have an open type font, which is the O, and we have a true type fonts, and this is being designed by companies or a specific writers or printers as we have taken before, and in this case it will be matching any computer it goes to. So in this case, for example, let's say I'm opening InDesign on another computer. If I'm having a true font, this font will never change, but if I'm having open font, I need to download the fonts before I use it on another computer. So let me, in this case, I'm using a true type font. Now in here, you're gonna find the true type fonts has less options. Sometimes it does have more options. So if I'm going to my open type font here, you'll find I'm having more options to go from. So I'm having here a light. So this is a light writing. Where I'm going here, I'm having a regular. This is how the fonts look like. I'm having, of course, the medium, which is a little bit darker than regular, and it has a little bit of boldness. Where I'm having again the bold or semi-bold within my text. So if I'm going to my text here and I'm going to semi-bold, again you'll find it more clear to be viewed by older age, for example, or those who are having a optical problem. So in this case, we can make sure that they can read our text clearly. All right, if we go to the second point here, we having here the size of the font itself. Now notice please, if I just move this a little bit up, you will find here a very small square with a plus inside it. So it tells me here there are some text still are there within your frame, so you need to enlarge your frame to make sure those texts are appearing. So I'm still having here a more of this little square. We're gonna find out how we're gonna work this square later on today. Great. So moving with more of the text here, I'm just selecting my text, highlighting my text. Again, we having here, now we're gonna start speaking about the different spacing between each of those lines. So if I'm just moving this a little bit up, you'll find again the lines getting away from each other. If I'm moving this down, again I'll find the lines getting close to each other. So I'm just gonna move this to 20 to 23 between. So this makes it easier for the readers to go through my documents and reading my documents without any issues. So now those tools here, those are pretty much as Microsoft Word, if you are familiar with it. Say for example, if I'm using, let's use this line over here. I'm just gonna zoom into my line a little bit so you can see it. So if I'm using the TT, which is the uppercase, so all of it will be capital letter. Now if I just remove it, make sure you click it to undo your capital letters. Or actually I can go over here and just get small cases, so all of them will be small cases instead. Great. Now go in here, this is the sub and the sub. So we have here superscript. So when you click on superscript, so let's say for example I'm trying to reference my word here, so I'm just adding here 1. I usually not going to use that much in this project, but we might do in the future. So I can actually reference this by superscript. So we have in 1 here, so it tells me, okay, this is being referenced at the back of the book. Where we having here a sub, and this is again, if we put here, this is made on 1999 at this case. I'm going to use the sub here to reference a specific letter or a specific line or a specific word using the subscript. Great. So those are the difference between them. Again, we're not going to use them much within our project, but it's good to understand what is the point or what is the meaning behind them. Now, moving on in this case, make sure please you untick any of those options. If you tick it and you don't wish to have it in other text, you can untick it at any time. Now, we are quite familiar with this, having an underline within the text. We have an across text. So let's say, for example, I'm crossing this text. I'm trying here to redefine my word, for example. So I'm crossing the words that I would like to get rid of or I would like to fix. Now, going at this point here, we have, those are the options for the optical, looking at the image or looking at the text from different aspects. So let's say, for example, for me here, I can read the text, but I need more spacing between the letters so I can actually figure out the difference between each of those letters. So we have metrics here and we have optical. So if you look at difference between them, if I go to optical, you're gonna find my words getting a little bit wider. So let me just go to optical here. So again, not much goes between them, but it depends how you just need the readers to go through your words. And to me, more relaxing while looking at those words. Now we can change those manually and we're gonna go through those in a minute. So I can get the space between the text, which is wider if I wish to. And usually if we do this, we do this mainly with changing the aspect of the word itself. So if you look here, you will find the text is a little bit different than the rest of the text. But if we go more of that, you will find it clearly looks different than the rest of the text. And now at this point, I'm trying to get the attention of the viewer before reading my paragraph. I can do the same here, but changing the size vertically. So again, this is the height of the text. So if I'm just going a little bit up, you will find the text being squeezed up. And this is not going to change to 100% again because at any time, if you need to go back again, change it to 100%, simply you can go to 100 and it takes you back again to the original of the text. Now changing the text location within the paragraph. So let's say, for example, this is my paragraph, but I need this text to be out of the paragraph or out of the paragraph frame. At this case, I can actually allocate or reallocate again my text to get it to be out of my paragraph. But just make sure if you do so, you need to highlight, once you highlight the space of the page itself. To get it within, again, I'm just gonna click on 0, enter, reallocate it again within my paragraph. Now, as we spoke about the vertical resizing of my text, I can speak again about the horizontal resizing of my text. If I'm going a little bit horizontal, at this case, it does not control the size between the letters. No, it does control the letters themselves. So you find the letters are stretched horizontal or vertical. So whatever it is, you see that? Just move this a little bit up here. So now the text itself or the letters or the characters themselves has been changed. So let me just put here the putting the character back to 0 or 100%. Here we go. Going over here again, get it to be 100%. There we go. Now here shearing the text itself, so tilting the text a little bit toward the left or the right. So toward the right will be with the plus. If you go down here and you go into 0 or minuses, at this case minuses will shear it toward the left. So left and right. So plus are the right, minus are the left. To get it back again, I'm just gonna type here 0 degree, enter, and it will take it again back to the original. Last but not least, here we're working with the color of the text itself. We're having here, this is the color of the text fill. So let's just keep it as red. At this point, I'm having it red here. I can actually change as well the outlines of the text itself. But to do so, I'm just gonna enlarge my text a little bit. So I'm just using my resizing over here. It's too large, I'll just put it a little bit down. Again, anytime if you miss one of those letters, simply you just can go over here and just click on the number or change the size. So the here was 27. So now those are all of them same size. Now, why I've done this? I've done that mainly because I need to get an outlines for my text. I don't recommend it much, but some people do, just to give your text more visibility. So if I'm clicking in black here, look in the black here, you find an outlines again surrounding your letters. So let me just go here over here and just change it, for example, to bluish. You'll find the bluish around the text. Again, give it more depth. I prefer having an outlines of black if your text is in another color, say for example red, as you see in front of you. Now going toward this styling, I'm not going to style my text because again, you need to create your own style. So say for example, I like this style and I said, okay, in the future, I need this to be my styling of the rest of my topics so I can create a new character style. I'm not gonna go through this to confuse you, but I'm just gonna go to the last part here, which is aligning part. So let me just go select or highlight my whole text. To do it so, you can actually go by dragging your text from beginning to end, or you can click on Control A to select all your text at once. So Control A on your keyboard for Windows, Command A for Mac. Now once I'm done with this, I'm going here to align my text. So I can align it to the left, I can align it right in the center, to the right, but in here we have a different justifies. Now, if you're familiar with Microsoft Word, again, you do understand what justify is. But justify is I need all of them to be in line. So I need text to be covered from left to right into one line. So here I can justify it to the left, justify it to the center, or justify it for full length of all text. So again, all the text will stop over here and will resume at the next line. Regard the spinal here, we call this as a spine. So we have one spine, two spines. So if I'm selecting my text and I need the text to be a little bit away from this border here, which is a green border. Actually, let me change the border here to a black so we can see it properly. So I'm having the border here in black. So if I need the text to be away from the border here, simply what I need to do is select all. And then I'm getting it away to be from this border here, still justifying but away from the border. Again, I can get it to the other border or the left border, away from the borders, or I can move them the way how I desire. So let's say for example I'm having them aligned to the left, but in this case I need them to move around 17 millimeters away from the spine. So I can do so by changing the spine again manually. Where if you go over at the bottom of the spine, you're gonna find moving the first line. So I'm moving the first line here, so my text will start right from this spacing. So we call it indenting within Microsoft Word. And here this is similar, but I'm indenting the beginning, and also I'm having the option to indent the end of my text. Of course, here I'm not gonna see the end of my text because again, as we said at the beginning of the lesson today, we're having here a small square with a cross right in the middle of it. Tells me there are continuous of text that he did not include yet within your InDesign. As I promised you, I'm going to show you how to do so. So say for example, I'm having this text over here and I'm having a little square here. It tells me, Okay, your text is incomplete. So simply to do this, all you need to do is just double click on it. If you double click on it, it's gonna generate it by itself. Or we can do two options. So the first option here is click on the square. Here we go. So it gives me the rest of the text as you see here. That I did not use, so I can use it, for example, in the second page. Here we go. Drag and select where you want the text to be placed at. Again, if it tells me there are more here, I can click on the square and it takes me to the rest of my text. So the square here is gone, is clear. Now it's clearly here. I don't have more text. If I'm dragging down, my text again are fully done at the moment. And all the different settings I've designed within my text, again, is being applied to the rest of my paragraphs. The second option here, if you just use your text without selecting where you want it to be. So in this case, if I double click, it gives me all my text as you see here, and it changes it according to the page. So let's say, for example, I'm having the text over here, I'm double clicking. Again, the text will be placed straight on according to the page itself. So it's not gonna go over the page. But again, I'm having a different paragraph within my text, so it's easier to control my text. So whatever is desired for you, if you would like to get either text and you just place it where you want, or you just double click and just get the rest of the text and apply it to another page, this is up to you as a designer. Thank you for your attention today, and I will see you in the next tutorial.